Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out Absolute Power Origins Issue 2 by John Ridley, Aletha Martinez, Norm Rapmund, and Andrew Dalhouse. Amanda Waller's secret origin continues to be revealed as John Ridley jumps a little ahead in the timeline where Waller is established herself in the government, and across the first 3 pages, Ridley perfectly sums up a lot of early meetings between heroes and things we've seen across all media when it comes to 2 big heroes meeting, Batman and Superman, Dawn of Justice, Civil War, all of this sort of stuff. You get the main hero, then you have another hero come in and they battle each other because one hero thinks the other one's a threat. And then there's the common enemy who brings those heroes together to fight against them. And here we see that with Batman and Superman having fought and then coming together with the Justice League to battle Amazo, whose arrival prompts the formation of the Justice League here. The whole point of Waller's story is her telling this person that the people no longer have power. These so-called superheroes like the Justice League, like Batman and Superman, have it all now, and just regular people no longer have any agency. We find out that she's actually talking with Cyclotron, having captured the metahuman after he tried to rob a bank to help his family. Ridley's writing of Waller here is pretty fantastic. She is clearly manipulating Cyclotron by appealing to his need to help his family, and she even ends up relating to his needs thanks to her own family and what happened to her husband and how he was killed trying to help his family. That's the really interesting thing here, because this is a different tactic than we usually see present day Waller use, where she's now using something relatable to win over a potential squad member. This is something we've never really seen before, and it's really interesting. It kind of throws you off balance, like, oh well, if Waller's doing this, what else is she going to do that's different than what we usually see? Well, it's really interesting to see what Ridley has in store for us across the rest of this issue and in the final issue, in issue 3. Waller is eager to have Clarence join her little team so she can prove her new project, dubbed Task Force X, will work, and that he has a purpose in life and can actually be someone who represents justice, not one of these superhero vigilantes. After vaguely threatening Dante Jimenez, her daughter's fiance, Waller assembles her first ever Suicide Squad, made up of Cyclotron, Johnny Sorrow, Lobo, Emerald Empress, Dr. Polaris, and Rustam. I just want to also note, and this is me going a little bit nerdy, but this Emerald Empress isn't the one we recently saw in Kneel Before Zod. This is the pre-Zero Hour Emerald Empress, so by knowing that, you kind of can pick where in the timeline this actually takes place in. It's very, very early on in Waller's career. Now, all of the team buy into Waller's rousing speech about how they will represent true justice in this world, except for Lobo, who is only wanting to get paid, and Waller even manages to spin that into a motivational speech, citing that his motivation for money is kind of like his superpower. The team get underway with their first mission, battling the Yang Sung gods. Now, this is a damn cool pull, because we actually saw the outcome of this fight and the other side of this fight, the Suicide Squad fight, in the Justice League versus Suicide Squad tie-in of the Suicide Squad book at the time by Rob Williams. This is the other side of that issue, which is really damn cool. That's an issue that came out in like 2017, 2016, so a while ago, so it's a damn fine pull from Ridley here. Here we get to see Waller's side of things and how she really only wanted the God Engine, the device that the Great Sun, the dictator of the country that the Yang Sung gods protect, has created to make metahumans and make a metahuman army for himself and his country. The plans go awry when Cyclotron tries to convince the team to take the God Engine for themselves so they can become literal gods, Waller's little speech having worked a little bit too well on him. Not wanting the meta to muck up her plans, Waller offers Lobo double his payment if he kills Cyclotron, and of course he does without hesitation, and it causes his neural network to explode and take out the entire city with him in a nuclear explosion. Waller's family life also comes back in the back half of the issue as her daughter Coretta comes to confront Waller, angered that she threatened Dante earlier in the book by telling him that she knows he has a drug habit. Coretta, however, was well aware and find out that this is the beginning of Waller kind of sabotaging her own family life because she's just so paranoid and needs to be the one controlling everything and needs to be in control of everything and thinks of everything as like a mission or an operation she's on and everything. And I love seeing Waller try and micromanage her daughter's marriage and life, and just like one of her other missions, and you can kind of see why she would want to do that and kind of understand why her husband was gunned down by a drug dealer, because he couldn't control the situation, and Waller doesn't want that to ever happen again to her family. And then she's also sort of expanded that where she doesn't want that to happen to America again, hence why she doesn't like these vigilantes taking justice into their own hands and putting normal people like her husband and her in danger. Waller then lies to her daughter and promises not to let what she's doing overwhelm her. And again, Waller skews things that she's doing as the right thing, and getting rid of these heroes is what's best for everyone. And she tells the president as much when she goes to see him later on in the book to debrief him about what happened to Cyclotron, something she even skews as a good thing, as him dying helped, as she puts it, free the greatness trapped within Clarence, which is really gross way of putting things. Like, that's like really gross on her part. Like, she warped this man's tragic death into like a good thing, and this is getting the results, and this is the start of the Waller we know in the present day, where she doesn't really care about these people as long as they get her the results she wants. And this did, because the president is willing to back her and wants her to put a little bit more contingencies in place for her next iteration of the Task Force X team she has, and she plans on doing that, as she has a failsafe planned thanks to Cyclotron's cyclotronic neural net, which her people retrieved from the blast site. The scientists at Task Force X were able to turn the device into something that will negate a metahuman's powers, effectively the first version of the bomb in the brains the Suicide Squad usually get. And I imagine that's probably how it's going to evolve into, where she just ends up putting bombs in people's brains because it's a lot simpler. This is another really gross thing on Waller's part, since she did tell Cyclotron that he would be very important, and at the top of the issue she's relating to this guy about how she understands why he's doing what he does for his family, and also taking advantage of the fact that Cyclotron was a young man, so he was probably very inexperienced in the world around him, so he didn't know what to do. So Waller took advantage of that, and now she's doing it again with his corpse. It's really gross and a really interesting thing for Waller to do, and it's not the first time she's going to do something like that either. John Ridley continues to breathe new life into Amanda Waller, revealing surprising details about her past, her family, and early days as the leader of Task Force X. I love seeing the lengths that she'll go to manipulate those around her to get what she needs, and the pulls from continuity that Ridley drops in throughout the issue are just awesome, fantastic, very surprising, and they lend very well to telling her story. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10.